In the year 2020, scientists found a new set of elements, which could seemingly defy standard physics and were thus called Trans-Newtonian-Elements. Realizing what opportunities these materials provide, a small company quickly rose to a global mega-corporation. With a series of cunning maneuvers, the company slowly took over control. This changed in the year 2025, when they staged a coup and seized control over the entire planet. There was little to no resistance, as for the corporation led humanity to a new age of peace and prosperity, proclaiming that the world is now as one under the rule of the first human empire. Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Romana and this is Aurora 4X. So, I've just set up the game. There will be a game creation video also in, maybe even in this playlist, I'm not sure. But I think we should just jump right into the game and see what's up. Now, this is, by the way, all that you see when you start the game or select the game that you want to play. It looks really interesting, doesn't it? Now, to get something more, you should click on the Empire screen and we're going to open up the system map, or you could also press F3, but I'm going to just click it, and then we have at least some interface to look at. Yeah, I know the game is not the most graphically appealing one, I admit that, but it has so much depth, and I think it is such an interesting concept that I really was drawn into this. So let me just show you where we are at the moment. Let me just find it. Earth. There we go. That's Earth. And as you can see by the mess around us, there's a lot to look at just in our solar system. This is the solar system, and it's not the solar, it's also a solar system, but our sun is called Sol. Just to remind you. I can right click anywhere and just show me fleets or ships or contracts or populations, and since I clicked just in deep space, obviously there is nothing to be looked at here. But if I look at Earth and right click on Earth, we can see that there is a population of Earth. I can set up contracts for shipping and stuff like that. So basically there's a lot to do. But I think in the first episode we should talk about most of the buttons up here and just take a general look at the gameplay. Let's just start with the first one to the top left. Now this is called the Population and Production Overview, or a summary of our selected population, which is Earth. And you can see here that I have a little bug. Now, I had this in the last test games, and I actually found out that this is a conflict which appears with touch screens. Now, it's really interesting because this is a PC. It's not a laptop or a notebook with a touchscreen. But I have a Wacom or Wacom, or however you want to pronounce it, graphical tablet to draw on. And this, of course, counts as some kind of, well, touchpad input. And to fix this, I would have to restart the game, and I will after this first episode, because it doesn't really matter that I have the bug right now, by just unplugging the thing, and that's it. If you find yourself in a similar problem, just look at all your touchscreen stuff, and you might have to disable it in the device manager, I think it's called. So that's usually what should fix this. Anyways, moving back to the game, you can see here why this game is also often referred to as spreadsheet simulator. You will see a lot of spreadsheets and tables. And this is just our little overview of what we have on Earth. Now we have imperial population, we have obviously humans, we could have another species, but currently we're all humans here. Our planetary suitability, or the colony cost as it says, is 0. That's good. That means we can just walk around on Earth without having any like spacesuits or, you know, just some kind of installation. And this colony cost represents how expensive it is to maintain or sustain a human colony on that body. You will see this soon enough when we survey, I don't know, our moon or Mars or whatever. You will see that there is a colony cost or planetary suitability bigger than 0. Now, the administration level required means how much administration level our governor must have. And you can see this up here: planetary governor, no commander assigned; sector governor, no governor assigned, or commander assigned. We will do this soon enough. Anyways, these are all the stats. We know that we have 4 shipyards. That's what I created this thing with. It seems like all the 4 shipyards also have 2 slipways, so we end up with 8, which is cool. We have maintenance factories and all this good stuff over here. So, but that's just an overview. Let's just go through all these categories up here. You can also access the industrial production. If I close this, I can also access this via this little button, but most of these can be found back here, so I will find myself mostly clicking on one of these 4 if I want to open up this screen. The industry tab, you can build use our installations, our factories to build different stuff. Now we have construction factories to build installations like mines or shipyards, fighter factories, fuel refineries, and so on and so forth. Well, we can also build missiles with our ordnance factories. We, at the time, can only build conventional ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, which we don't really need. We could build fighters, but we don't really have any at this time. We could build ship components. We could build PDCs, which are planetary defense centers. Think of it as giant cannons that shoot into space, or maybe just missile silos or whatever you want to do. We could also prefab them, so build them in different little parts, build them in 5 parts, ship them out to another planet, and then install them there, and so on and so forth. So this is a screen that we will use a lot too. But I think the most important is research. I think I said this before. Research is one of the most important things that you can have in a 4X game. 4X, by the way, stands for explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. And you can do all this just a little bit better if you research the right technology. Now, we completed some different jump gates, or some technologies are already completed because we chose a start as a Trans-Newtonian one, as a Trans-Newtonian empire. So we have some stuff is already complete. We have genome sequences. We have, I don't know, we have the ability to build jump gate construction modules. We have the Trans-Newtonian technology, obviously. We already completed some shields. Wow, that's a lot. We also have some basic weaponry in the energy weapons department. We started with some logistics stuff, some missiles, some power and propulsion technology, sensors, and that's all the categories there are. So we have biology and genetics, construction production, defense, energy weapons, logistics and ground, missiles, kinetics, power and propulsion, and sensor and fire control. And these categories are really interesting because if you look at our scientists that we have, they have a specialization. Now sadly, our scientists are actually pretty bad. Now we have a guy, oh sorry, that's a girl, Georgia, or is it a man? I don't know, I don't care. He or she, doesn't matter, is specialized in defensive systems and has a bonus of 20%, and he or she can only, well, has the oversight or the administrative level to have a maximum of 5 labs allocated to him or her. Now this bonus over here is pretty good, simply because if I go back to the available contracts or available technologies, if I go to defensive systems, for example, cloaking technology. Now this is an interesting technology. It requires to It requires 10,000 research points to be completed. And if I go to Mr. Martin over here, I could allocate 5 labs to generate research points towards cloaking theory. But there's also a little bonus to this because this defensive systems thing here. And research bonus is 1 times for non-specialized and 4 times for scientist specialization. Now this 20 bonus, if I choose anything in defensive systems, will get quadrupled to an 80% bonus, which is great. So you want scientists with a really high bonus and a really good specialization, namely missiles and kinetic weapons, which is great because we have one, but the bonus is 0. Hooray! So 4 times 0, great. Doesn't really matter then. Or power and propulsion would also be really good because these things give you better engines, and engines are the things that, you know, propel your ship from Earth to anything in space. So we would like to have a good power and propulsion guy. Sadly we don't. But do not wail in despair because we can get one of those by chance in the future. So maybe not all is lost. Anyways, since we don't have anybody that is really useful right here, I will just queue up the fusion reactor technology, which is the prerequisite for magnetoplasma drive, which sounds pretty amazing, and I like good engines. So we're going to use Miss Martin or Mr. Martin over here. You know what? No, we're going to use George Turner. Sorry. And this is for a very, very plausible reason. Now, the bonus here is 10% instead of a 20, right? But she or he can only have 5 labs allocated. He has a maximum of 25. So I think 5 times as many labs are better than just 10% more bonus. Plus, we don't need to research any it's a BG again, biology and genetics anytime soon. So it's not like I'm losing his bonus anyways. So we're not going for genome sequencing, we're not going for terraforming right now. So I think that's the better choice here. Good. Now we still have 25 available labs, so let's just look through all this and maybe we're going to find something. I absolutely love to get the improved command and control. And we're going to use, I think, Callum Forster over here with another 25 labs, which I think is once again better than just a flat 20% bonus. I think this one you could argue 20% versus 0%, but if they are a project leader, if they lead a project, they have a chance to increase that bonus. There is a chance. It's just randomly generated. Just roll the dice, and maybe they level up. So having both of them work is not a bad idea. Good. So let's see what else we can find over here. Now, mining and maintenance sounds really interesting. That's something that I should have looked at a little bit earlier. Because it's randomly generated once again. Earth, I think, is guaranteed to have quite some minerals. You have uranium, neutronium, corbomite, tritanium, boronite. You have cassium, vanderite, thorium, uridium, corundium, and gallicite. Now these are used in different things. I think the uranium is kind of like your standard steel stuff. So it's pretty much, your substitute for steel. You use it a lot, and you can see we have a lot of that. That's good. Neutronium and corbomite, I don't rightly know. They're sometimes used in ship components and sensors maybe. One thing that I know a little bit more about is thorium. Thorium is the thing that you make fuel out of. So your spaceship fuel is made out of thorium. So you need a lot of that. And we have quite something, so that's all right. And one thing that is also very, very, very necessary is corundium. Now corundium makes mines, or big, you could say automated mines. You can see it down here, it's built out of uranium and corundium. and you run out of corundium rather fast, usually. In the last 2 games that I played, corundium was very, I would say, rare. So if you want to mine out the whole solar system, you need a lot of corundium to build a lot of mines to mine stuff back. So yeah, that's basically what's going on. Anyways, we have an idle industry, so we don't want that. So we're going to look at what we could use. We have mines, we have automated mines, we have some research labs, and we have some construction facilities. We have quite a lot of construction facilities, I like that. Maybe we're going to upgrade... No, you know what? We're going to convert some mines to automated mines. So maybe like 50. And, oops, I need to click on it again. Now we're going to create this industrial project for automated mines, and we're going to use 100% of our industrial output to build these. If I don't like this anymore, I could just go here and say, nope, just use 80% and click on modify. Then we use 80% of our capacity to build these 50 automated mines, or... and I could just go ahead and use the remaining 20 to build something else. But this doesn't make a lot of sense, and I realized that I just misclicked here. I don't want this. I want to convert mines to be automatic mines. I'm going to use 100% of our current available capacity. You can see the estimated date of completion is the 22nd November of 2025. So it's actually just about in 9 months. That's fine enough. I can live with that. All right, let's just move on through all of this here and let's see what we can do. Mining and maintenance we already saw. There's one thing that I didn't mention though. That's the accessibility over here. That's how easy it is to get all the stuff out of the ground. As you can see, uranium has really good accessibility. That's why we actually get a lot of uranium out of the ground. Now, with an accessibility of 1, we would get 9,000 tons per year. Now, since this is only an accessibility of 0.9, we only get 8,640 tons. I assume that, well, 9,600 times 0.9 is actually 8640. I'm pretty sure. It seems plausible. Anyways, and this is true for anything else here. Yeah, as you can see, titanium, half. That's actually pretty much half. Now, this accessibility reduces your efficiency, so you want stuff with really high accessibility. Our corundium, for example, is only 0.4. That's not good, but at least we have a lot of it. So our years to depletion seems pretty much ranging from about 10 years to 36 years. That's good enough, I'd say. Don't really need to upgrade our mines on Earth. Why do I do it then? Well, automated mines can be shipped to, I don't know, any of these bodies over here. Any of these comets and asteroids and whatnot could have minerals and could mine them for us. And if I ship automated mines there, then I don't need anybody to watch over them. They're automated. That's perfect. That's perfect. So that's why I'm converting some of our mines to automated mines, so I can ship them off planet to get more stuff. Okay, so as we look through these, then we have, of course, the next one, which is wealth and trade. We have a lot of starting wealth, and we have some income. That's basically it. Since we did not, since we're still paused at the beginning of the game, I think this hasn't really updated yet. We could go for some ground unit training. We have some low-tech divisions. We will delete them or upgrade them later in the game. At the moment, I don't think it's really necessary. Whoops, that was a misclick. See, ground units. These are our ground units that we have at the moment. These are our civilian status. We can set up contracts. Over the course of the game, there will be civilian constructions or civilian companies. They just do their stuff. Maybe they build a mining colony on, I don't know, Helga over here. Or they build a space bus and transport, what's it called again? colonists. Yeah, colonists from one place to another. I don't know about them. They will just pop up randomly during the course of the game. Now, the rest is rather specialized stuff, like the teams and academy. I could just take, I don't know, some geology, a geology team created, and I can station them on different colonies, and they could survey the planet, the asteroid or whatever, a little bit more carefully, and maybe find additional sources of minerals. That's a thing. You could see espionage. You could go for diplomatic stuff. If you find ruins, I think we can go for xenologists. I'm not sure about that. I did not use this in my last games, but I definitely will this time, I think. Okay, moving on, we have the terraforming list, or the terraforming tab. As you can see, terraforming is currently inactive because we don't need to terraform Earth. It's fine enough. We have a nitrogen of about 80%, we have 20% oxygen, we have 1% argon. That's perfectly fine. No toxic gases. The total pressure is 1, which is pretty much what we want. We have a temperature between a surface temperature of 14 degrees Celsius. That's kind of like spring temperatures, so that's okay. And the rest is just here. We don't need to change Earth. We could add, I don't know, sulfur dioxide. I don't think this is a good idea, but let's just leave it at that. We could, of course, if we find a planet that has a toxic atmosphere, we could say, okay, please remove the, I don't know, the carbon dioxide. It's not really toxic, but you can't breathe it. So please remove carbon dioxide to a maximum atmosphere of 0. We could do this, or we could say, please add oxygen to the atmosphere until, I don't know, we reach a certain atmospheric pressure. That is something that we will do in the future, of course. So this is basically what we can do over here. There are a lot of buttons that we need to go through, and one that is specifically interesting for now, and I'll leave the other ones once they really become a pressing issue. But one thing that you should do in the beginning of the game, I think, is assign a commander, or actually not really a commander. I'm going to automate assignments. But one thing that we need to do in the beginning of the game, I think, is a civilian administrator. You remember on this screen that we had no planetary governor assigned. Now that's what we want to do right now. We want somebody to run the day-to-day business on Earth. And we need a governor who has at least an administrative rating of 5. So actually only Victoria Coates is eligible for this job. And she actually has pretty good stats. You can see this on the right-hand top of the screen. Her rating is 5. That's basically what she needs to have to be governor of Earth. She increases the factory production bonus, or gives a factory production bonus of 5. She also increases our wealth creation, and something that I think is one of the most pressing ones is the mining bonus. I think the mining bonus is really, really good. You could also filter by special stuff over here. Let's say wealth creation, and we know that the civilian administrator Christopher Gill over here would have a bonus of 30%. But the rest is not really that great. We don't really need ground unit construction speed or stuff like that. The thing is, we don't really have a choice here, since she's the only one with a high enough administrative level, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to assign her to the job. At least she is determined. She embraces change, and she's honest. So I like her. She can run the day-to-day business on Earth. She's 21. I mean, she will be governor for a very long time, unless she gets killed in an accident or something like that, which can actually happen. All right. So this is more or less what I want to set up in the beginning. There are 2 things that I do before we end this episode. One is we're going to show events over here at the display tab down here. So all the new events are now being shown on this map, on the galaxy map, or system map, sorry. You can also find them over here. This is the event list, but the major ones will now also be displayed over here. The other thing that I want to do is give me display 2. I want only asteroids with minerals. Now you can see I slightly cleaned up the mess. As soon as we launch survey ships and they find minerals on these things, then they will pop up again. But I don't need to know about Leto or Thule. I think it's Thule actually, but I don't know. Or Wolf Harrington or Van Biesbroek or whatever. I don't. Well, this will not be gone because it's not an asteroid, it's a comet, I think. But you know what I mean. We don't need to know about those. So goodbye. If you have something for us, then we will come back to you. Okay. These are the things that I really want to do in the beginning of the game. Set up a commander, a governor for Earth. Set up this. And I think we are pretty much through all the basic stuff in the interface. So hopefully we're going to get into a little bit more gameplay next time. If you like what you saw, then please consider pressing the like button. It helps out a great deal. Also, it's, as said, more of an introductional video. The next one will contain a lot more gameplay. But if you liked it, click the like button. It helps me to determine if this series has some resonance in the viewership. And I really do hope that I see you in the next episode. So thanks for watching, and as always, auf Wiedersehen.